Bit of an odd one here. I don't want to kind of do this, but it's a bit of a weird one. I was looking at see what other tips are out there for real estate or property photography or interior or all that kind of stuff. See what tips other people are giving out. As you see, I've done loads of videos on it, on whether it's the lighting, it's the composition, it's the positioning, it's how to balance your the power of your flash with the external light and all that kind of stuff. And there's many differences within which countries you live, whether you've got bright sunlight or whether you're shooting at night time, or if you've got dark small rooms or big rooms. There's so many different things that you need to take into consideration. One of the most important things is composition, like converging lines or converging verticals, stuff like that. The first one that I came up to is like real estate photography tips. I was like, okay, what's this one doing? And the first picture I was looking at, it's like, before I'd even read the article, I was thinking, is this like a photo of how not to do it? And I thought, I wouldn't put that in there if that is how to do it. And then I go down to the next one, I'm like, also it's like, this must be an article on mistakes to do it. And then I'm like, oh, there's that one as well. Just a couple of things that I'll mention that it says in here. Okay, the first thing it says, the bare essentials you'll need for interior property photography include a tripod, electronic flash. Is there any other thing that can be a flash? Dynamite, you could use that. A flash and non-distorting lenses. Pretty much you're not going to find any lens which doesn't distort in some way or some form. So you're probably just going to have to Photoshop and get rid of any distortion that you get in 99% lenses. They say wide angle is fine as long as they aren't too wide. I would say you cannot go wide enough. You can always crop in, but you can't crop out after you've taken the photo. Many times I've had people say to me, make sure you get right into the corner of the building, and I go right into the very corner and have the camera like on my chest and I'm just looking at the spirit level, because a lot of the time you just want to get the biggest, widest, as much stuff in as you can. And it says try and get architecture specific lenses. Now what that would mean, if any of you are wondering, is that would be stuff like tilt and shift lens. However, there's not a huge number of them, and the widest you can get is the 17mm from Canon. It's a 17mm, so it's a prime, doesn't zoom in any way, so not that useful, and I don't think it's an f2.8 either, so you're not going to be super bright with that. Okay, then they go on about the lighting basics here. It says the first step is turn on all the lights in the house. I usually agree with that, especially in Europe, where we're all made to use energy efficient light bulbs that just suck ass. They just have no power in them whatsoever. They say this will add more depth and color variance to your photos. Okay. Be sure that lights do not show up as reflections in pictures, windows, mirrors, or other reflective surfaces. Usually if they're hanging down, you don't need to worry about that because they're up there, they're not really reflecting off anything. But then in the image that they show here, they've got lights in a mirror against a window reflecting. So I'm thinking this must be like a mistake photo that they've put on here. I'm still not sure what these photos are meant to represent. This is the bit which I really find funny, is often you'll need to use external lighting such as flashes or strobes. I would call a flash and a strobe, they're the same thing. I've been doing photography for quite a while now, and I've never heard someone go, can I get your flash? Oh no, I don't want your strobe, I want a flash. Okay, to balance the natural and artificial light. So actually what you're more likely going to be needing is gels for your flash or your strobe to balance the natural or artificial light. Here's one. A simple tactic is to replace the incandescent bulbs with more powerful tungsten bulbs. So in certain houses you're going to have to go in with a ladder, go around all the lights in the room, change all the light bulbs, and carry a packet of, for example, this room that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 bulbs. 20 bulbs for this room alone, which I'm in just now. So you're going to carry a box of 20 high power bulbs, put them all in. I'll need a ladder to get up to those ones. That's a simple tactic. Don't worry about that one. For more powerful tungsten bulbs. I don't think you can buy them in the UK anymore. They have a higher output and are more consistent in colour temperature with outdoor lighting. And the next thing is that when using portable flash or strobes, it is best not to point the light directly at your scene. I absolutely agree with that. Instead, aim it at the ceiling or wall. Yes, fine. This will diffuse and spread the light throughout the entire room. Use caution with coloured walls, good point, as the colour may transfer to the light. That's very true. However, like the first picture that they've put up here, the fact that I can see this massive shadow from this light makes me think they've just had a direct flash. Or a direct flash also slightly going up the way because it's totally white up here, which is then causing horrible shadows there and there and there, and it's just, and also the colour that they've used outside is now ice cold blue, and this I imagine to be kind of a grey granite is completely orange. So that must be an example of a bad photo. I'm sure it is. Bright and large windows often cause various problems in an interior shoot. They distract the viewer and can cause exposure problems. You should never have an exposure problem if you're using manual. Planning your shoot when the sun isn't at its strongest or entering directly into the window is an easy solution to this. Now, I would disagree with that. Because if you're in a room where you've got a bright ass window behind you, if you're behind you and you're looking into the room and you've just got these little puny lights, powered lights, then what's going to happen is it's going to be bright, 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 dark, 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 like you're looking down a tunnel of any room. Here's my kind of example. So here's what I would say. I would go to the other corner and shoot towards the window and use flash. So the flash brightens up the area that you're in, but the window will also be bright and brightening up that area. So for example, if I can show you, so this, not that one. This is the kind of shot which I finished up on. Happy with that. The window isn't distracting too much. The whole place is well lit, and that is bright because it is. It's meant to be bright. The sun is meant to be coming in. If shooting from the other angle, this is it from the other angle. So obviously I'd want to close the door, and unfortunately we're seeing all these wires here, so I would never use that photo. But what happens is, if I'm having the flash on my camera, I'm probably not going to be using it because I've got all the light which is coming in from the window. But that just means even this area over here, which does have lights, just gets a bit dark and a bit tunnely. Here's another example. This is one where I actually just closed all the blinds. So the blinds are completely down here, but it was a blindingly bright day outside. I'm using the flash over here and exposing everything that's behind me and reflecting off there. Means I have no harsh shadows anywhere. Yes, I am using flash here, but if I shoot from the other side, this side, you can see it's just a bit kind of darker. Here's another example. Window behind me means all this area here is bright, but the area which is far away, where I can't really put another flash, is just becoming a bit of a sucking the light away. So I would definitely say that I would shoot towards the window, so you're seeing the window, but using flash to illuminate the area behind you. Again, it all depends on what kind of size of property that you're dealing with and the amount of light that is coming in. Then they talk about the composition, which is quite good. They're saying shoot in the corners of the room. I would agree with that. This will create more depth and make the room appear larger. I would also say there's certain times where you want to take, sometimes a room is very well symmetrical, and it's quite cool to get it spot on in the middle. But generally that doesn't really ever happen. Photographing from a lower angle and with a wider angle lens is also a great way to increase the perceived size of the room. I agree, absolutely true. Choose attention-grabbing areas. Okay, so here it's talking about you want to photograph a room, then find the bits which are interesting. Choose objects of importance to the room, such as interesting architecture. So again, with me, what I would say is always try and get the fireplace in. So for example, here I'm showing you the window. You don't need to see the door that you've come in, but I'm shooting the window. I'm also getting the fireplace as well. That is important stuff. And again, you're seeing I'm not really creating any shadows with the flash that I'm using, but I am using flash, which is illuminating this area, and we've still got a lot of brightness coming from outside. And then, but also at the same time, this one had the kitchen at that side as well. So that is effectively 2 shots of the same room, but having completely different looks to it. One just living room area, and another one living room and kitchen area. Very important. In fact, here's a perfect example. This is a very plain, straight on room, but it has a fireplace. So you shoot the fireplace. However, this one shoots the fireplace, and you can also see the pathway into the kind of kitchen dining area. The other angle is from beside the fireplace, but that's a bit crap because all you're seeing is the door entrance. You don't need to see that. Got the windows, good, and only the side of the fireplace. That just looks crap. Nobody wants to see the side of the fireplace. But the other option is this way, where you just seeing the room, and you've got the window and the fireplace. Both important features because you can see a slightly curved window and all that kind of stuff, and you can tell what type of fire it is. It's an electric one. And you can also actually see the TV wire points there, so I can already see, this place has Virgin Media or Telewest that I can get. But this angle, not a good angle. And then here's a very important little specific point here. Know your goals, so I totally agree with this. Are you photographing the house to feature the architectural design and layout and size of stuff, or the ambience, the feel, the kind of what you want to get out of the house? So sometimes you want to just go, this is the room, you've got it, oh, look at all of it, you've got from there to there, get it all. But other times you might kind of go, I just want it to look like a warm, cozy little house. Let's shoot it from each side of the sofa and showing sofa, fireplace, stuff like that. You know, so it's more closed in, but you get more feel of the house rather than just going, get everything, must get everything. But for me, and for a lot of you that are shooting for certain agencies may want a bit of everything. They may want, I want everything, and they may want, I just want it to look really nice. And at the same time, you may have agencies which are like saying, we like it this way, however, our landlord was wondering, can you just put in the picture where it's from an angle and you're shooting everything? So it's not necessarily, you'll see my shots, I do a wide variety of angles and positions, and that's because I know I will always send like here's my favorite photos. These are the best photos, and here's all the other ones which I don't really think are good, but you've asked for them. Here you go. So that's my little tips, and yeah, just in general, this is more kind of a thing of watch out for the advice that's being given out on all sites. Not all information is good, or certainly not all images that go with information are good, unless this site is trying to really bash virtual tours here. Because pretty much everything that virtual tours has done, apart from the composition being very good and having vertical lines, they've just kind of ripped into. Oh, and those colours are nasty. Anyway, hope that helps. Cheers. Bye-bye.